ওহে ভক্তি প্রিয় আমার, ভক্তি হবে রাধা সতী, হৃদি বৃন্দাবনে বাস, হৃদি বৃন্দা মুক্তি কামনা আমারি, হবে বৃন্দে গোপনারী, মুক্তি কামনা আমারি, হবে বৃন্দে গোপনারী, দেহ হবে নন্দের পুরী, স্নেহ হবে মা যশোমতী, ওহে ভক্তি প্রিয় আমার, ভক্তি হবে রাধা সতী, হৃদি বৃন্দা বনে বাস, হৃদি বৃন্দা। আমায় ধরো ধরো জনার্দন, পাপ ভার গোবর্ধন, আমায় ধরো ধরো জনার্দন, পাপ ভার গোবর্ধন, কামাদি ছয়ে কংস চরে, ধ্বংস করো সম্প্রতি, বাজায় কৃপা বাঁশরী, মন ধেনুরে বশ করি, বাজায় কৃপা বাঁশরী, মন ধেনুরে বশ করি, তিষ্ঠ হৃদি গোষ্ঠী পূজে, ইষ্টয়ে মিনতি, ওহে ভক্তি প্রিয় আমার, ভক্তি হবে রাধা সতী, হৃদি বৃন্দা বনে বাস, হৃদি বৃন্দা বনে বাস। তোমার প্রেম রূপ যমুনা কুলে, আশা বংশী বটমূলে, প্রেম রূপ যমুনা কুলে, আশা বংশী বটমূলে, সদাস ভেবে সদয় ভাবে, সতত করো বসতি, সদাস ভেবে সদয় ভাবে, সতত করো বসতি, যদি বলো রাখাল প্রেমে, যদি বলো রাখাল প্রেমে, বন্দি থাকি ব্রজধামে, যদি বলো রাখাল প্রেমে, বন্দি থাকি ব্রজধামে, জ্ঞানহীন রাখাল তোমার, দাস হবে দাশরথী, ওহে ভক্তি প্রিয় আমার ভক্তি হবে রাধা সতী হৃদি বৃন্দা বনে বাস হৃদি বৃন্দা বনে বাস কহিম যদি করো কমলাপতি যদি করো কমলাপতি ওহে ভক্তি প্রিয় আমার ভক্তি হবে রাধা সতী হৃদি বৃন্দা বনে বাস হৃদি বৃন্দা বনে বাস।
Oh, everyone try to get your seats as quickly as possible. Always remember, try to maintain silence in the shrine, except when we're singing. We'll wait just a couple of minutes, then Swamiji will begin the second session of his talk. And after that, there's a panel discussion, and then we'll have a break after that. So the singing was beautiful and very appropriate for the topic, all devotional songs, and I think we all enjoyed. I enjoyed it very much. It was wonderful. So let them come. We forget sometimes Thakur, how many times he said, he was famous for two-word sentences, bhakti ishar, one essential thing in spiritual life is devotion. So it's very nice. I'm very happy we're having this topic and the beautiful singing and everything. I think we can start.
Om Jananing Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padupadme Tayasritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. So, we are thinking of bhakti, theoretical aspect of it, and not a practical, we are not doing practice. One of the devotees says that is all theoretical talk. That's true, because when you talk, it is all theoretical. And practical is much higher thing, and practical thing can really give us the juice of this bhakti. So anyhow, we talked about bhakti and the stages of bhakti as has been spoken by Sri Ramakrishna. And to start that sadhana, now we'll be today, this hour, we'll think about how the same idea of bhakti, how to generate bhakti in us, and where to start, and what practices that we can hear from Rama, Sri Rama's advice. There is a story in the Ramcharitmanasa that there was one lady, her name was Shabari. You all know Shabari's story. Shabari was a tribal girl and raised under the kindness of a sage called Matanga. And Matanga Rishi was a very powerful Rishi, and he felt compassionate for her and gave shelter in his ashrama, and she was raised like a daughter of Matanga. The sage Matanga taught her all the worship and other things. And as he became old, before his leaving, he said, "You stay here in this ashrama. And one day, you are worshipping Rama. Rama will come one day. The Lord Rama will come one day and bless you with the physical body. You will see him. So, hold on. Do your practices." So we find that Shabari was a young, small girl then, a teenage girl maybe or something. But he believed in the words of her guru, Matanga. And every day, it was a habit, early morning doing her own practices, taking a shower, plucking some flowers, some fruits, and then every day she used to strew some of the flower petals on the road, main road to the ashrama. Because Rama will come, his soft feet will be touched by the pebbles so that he does not get hurt. What a devotion. And 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 year, 2 years, continued the same practice. waiting for Rama. It is called Shabari's Pratiksha, waiting of Shabari for Bhagavan Sri Rama to appear. And her deep faith that my Guru has said, the Lord will come and see me. And that he continued, she continued, and she became till very old. He started tottering on the stick, but didn't give up the habit. Collected every time the fruits from the ashrama trees and the flowers, and the same way keeping some flower, if he comes suddenly, I should be ready. Every day ready. That's a wonderful idea. Two things. Guru told it will happen, faith in Guru's words, and to practice it, such regular practice, every day, unfailing, and waiting. Rama may come in the morning, who knows? Rama may come in the noontime, who knows? Maybe in the afternoon, maybe in the evening. So waiting. This is called Bakulata. And a test, not 1 day, 2 days, whole life she did like that. And really one day, Rama in his wandering days, he was wandering 14 years of exile. And that period, Rama suddenly heard in a place, he used to go visit all these places, holy places. And he heard there is this is Matanga Rishi's place. Very powerful Rishi he was. So let us see the ashrama of Matanga. And so Rama came. And Rama came, now can understand. Whole life Shabari is waiting. And then when she was so overwhelmed, she does not know what to do. Seeing Rama, she has to sit in whatever she had, gave a seat, and then brought immediately offer flower at his feet, and garland on the neck, and started feeding. But biting one fruit by herself, and some which is sweet, giving it to half portion of the beaten fruit to Rama. Lakshmana was getting annoyed. What nonsense this lady is doing? How dare she can do that? But Rama said, don't do anything, don't talk. And Rama released the food and then blessed. And she blessed that you will leave your body, but don't worry, stay on here, continue your sadhana. He had the vision of Rama. And before leaving, she asked about bhakti. And that's called the Navadha Bhakti. Ninefold practice of bhakti. And that is called Shabari's instruction of Rama to Shabari. So this is a very inspirational story. We, in our life, should be waiting for God to come anytime. He may come anytime. Are you ready for that? In the Ramakrishna's disciple story we hear that Swami Swahananda, he was that time a brahmachari or sadhu, I do not know, and his guru was Swami Brahmananda. And suddenly one day he said, I like to go to see your room. He said, Maharaj, I am not ready for it. Then Brahmananda Swami said, you should be ready every day, every moment. You should not wait one day, okay, I will, today I am ready, then you come. You don't come now. For God, we have to be ever ready to accept Him. That means that heart should be open for His coming all the time, welcoming. And incessant practice of the feeling that He will come, He may come, His grace may happen any moment, and He may fulfill my life's goal. So there's a very touching story. And there, Rama then advised the ninefold devotional practices. So I was very, Ramcharitmanas is a beautiful, the couplets are so beautiful, but I miss it here, I didn't bring it. But just, even without that doha or chopai, whatever, the meaning, the 9 stages what he mentioned, I'll refer to that. First he said, Prathama santanahu ki sangha. First practice of spiritual discipline should be santana ki sangha, sadhu sangha. But Sri Ramakrishna in every page of the gospel speaks about sadhu sangha, sadhu sangha, sadhu sangha. There was one sadhu used in our Belur Math, an old sadhu, he is called Upuda. He was from Dhaka. And that Swami was liked by everyone, but he used to very joke with everyone. And he used to say, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastre Koi. Sadhu Sangha jivere torai. Only by Sadhu Sangha, only by holy company, one can be redeemed from all the practices of all other sadhana by Sadhu Sangha, Sat Sangha. And our Bhakti Sutra says, Sat Sangastu Durlabho Amoghascha. Sat Sangha, Sadhu Sangha is Durlabh. Durlabh means very rare. And if you get in your life once Sadhu Sangha, it is Amogha. Its effect is obvious. It will happen. You may not feel it now, but it will happen in lifetime somewhere. Sadhu Sangha has such a power. That's why Narada Sutta says, Dussanga sarvataiva tajya. Avoid always bad association and keep yourself connected with the Sadhu Sangha. So the first point was Sri Rama told that Shabari, Sadhu Sangha, company of the holy, keeping the association of the saints and spiritually minded people. Now this we can analyze how Sadhu Sangha, or maybe always we don't get a holy man around us and we have not the fortune to have their association or presence in our life. But Sadhu Sangha, what is Sadhu? Sadhu is God. Association with God by singing bhajan, by chanting mantras, by meditating on God, we can get association of the sadhu. But physical sadhu, if those who are genuine sadhu, their presence can lift us. We do not understand how important is that and how powerful those moments are. Many of our sadhus, our brahmachari days, many of the sadhus expressed going to Swami Premishananda. They don't find anything. He's an old sadhu. When I also there, I went there, I saw him as an old sadhu. Rather, I was inspired with the younger Swamis who were saying, with the zeal of Vivekananda and this and that. They are more interesting and appealing to our mind. An old Swami sitting and lying down and don't talk anymore, for no fire. But their Sangha, really, as time passes, its impact can be felt. And Sadhu Sangha also, if have some opportunity and mind is ready, you can feel that here is a sadhu and what grace, unconditional grace. If we go into their vicinity, our mind gets uplifted. Vaishnava Shastra says, what is Sadhu Sangha? Sadhu. Who is a sadhu? He said that Jahare herile hriday sphure Krishna naam tahare janiyo tumi Vaishnava pradhan. Who is a sadhu? Sadhu is he, Jahare herile, just beholding him or looking at him, hriday in your heart, sphure Krishna naam, God Lord's name, just resonate in your heart. Or you mean feeling that your mind gets lifted into the consciousness of Bhagavan. Tahare janiyo tumi Vaishnava pradhan. Know that. So this is the one of the greatest sadhana to have satsanga always, satsanga. That's the first step. If we cannot do any other sadhana, as I give the example, you have to make a permanent magnet. If you being a strong permanent magnet, temporary magnet are very strong. If you are very close to it, it will suck instantly. So, suppose you take another bar, iron bar, and want to make like bar like us. It has no polarity, it is not it is magnetic potential, but it is not magnet. So if you pass the heavy current in that not yet magnet, that with the electricity, then heavy magnetism can be generated in both ends. But that does not stay. As soon as the connection is off, it goes away. So we go to holy people and their presence lifts us. I have experienced myself. So with the sadhus, they are so powerful. They are talking maybe whole day, other business, this, that. But go to your vicinity, you feel that peace and that some different energy. And I used to think that these sadhus are here, and then, hey, let me go and meditate. If I see them, they love us very much, but they will be talking about, hello, how are you, how are your studies going on, and this and that. As it's a wastage of time. Better I can go and meditate. So it's to avoid them. But being with them, even not knowing anything, after that we used to feel, when those sadhus are gone, then trying to meditate, and with all effort, we don't get a trace of that joy which they used to give by presence, their presence. It is like they're radiating their spiritual energy unconsciously, like our Swami Swahananda Maharaj as an example. You come to him, he may talking this way, that way, but you feel one type of peace inside, and when you go away, you carry that peace. But that you cannot do by your own spiritual practice even. Doing that your own way. So that is their permanent magnet. They can just create such attraction. So that sadhu sangha can create that impression, and that creates a mark, deep mark in our mind, and can help us to move on. So that was very much important. And then sadhu sangha, when we get that holy company, second point is said, katha prasanga, hari katha. Katha sravana means listening to the divine stories, divine glories of, hearing the stories and glories of the Lord. When we hear, that spiritual mood comes in our mind. Holy is a hari katha, very popular. In India, thousands of people sit together to listen to hari katha. And they present in such a way, the charming way, we forget our old problems of our mind and our environment and things. They lift our mind into the Krishna concept. People talking about Ras Lila, Rasa Panchadhyay. I have seen one Swami used to give class in Udbodhan. We used to go and run. The hall is packed, and he's talking about Rasa Panchadhyay with Krishna and Radha, and their love and their devotion in such a mood that entire hall will be vibrating with some joyful mood. So that is the katha prasanga, to talk about the glories of God, think about the holiness, think about the intense spiritual life behind the stories and how they present it. Krishna Katha, Rama life, Krishna life, Buddha life, and their glories, talking about the glories. That is the second suggestion given by Rama, the second point. That sadhu sangha will not be alone, you add with it, sing the glories of God. Chant the name of the Lord unceasingly. And His glories. Chant the name of the Lord and His glories unceasingly. Not the chant only, but the glories. So that is the katha, talking about the greatness of that word Lord, which I think. And then to make it stronger, Guru Seva. Guru, serving the Guru with humility and without pride. That is, you read in the Gita also. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadiksanti te jnanam jnanino tattvadarshina. Tattvadarshi jnani gives them the blessings by how to approach, to go to a Guru by pariprasnena sevaya, pranipatena. First to bow down with humility before the teacher, spiritual teacher, and then put questions about the mystery of life. What is the spiritual quest and where is the obstacle? How can I overcome those obstacles in spiritual life to get his guidance and blessings, Pariprasnena. And Seva. Seva means my service. Now this service word is also very to be understood. Everyone thinks that physical service. Say our Belur Math, our President Maharaj and others, there may be minimum, maybe 30,000, 40,000, 100,000 disciples. If every disciple wants to serve President Maharaj, then what will be the condition of he will be killed in the way of serving him. But that is not the way. We have to understand Guru Seva also means not physical service, but to follow what spiritual instruction Guru has given. And Guru will be happy, genuine Guru will be happy if the disciple follows those and actually makes a spiritual growth and becomes more and more joyful, cheerful in inner meditation, prayer, in following that instruction. So this is the Guru Seva, is the third point. So first is Satsanga. Many people get attracted, Nowadays, I saw that, I listened to that talk. What is talk? Talk, he is talking about Brahman, Atman, or Bhakti or someone, and someone got first attracted to that. And then that attraction created a pull in the heart, and they found something charming, joyful, then they want to listen to more and more the glories of that divine. Third point is to find one who can guide us as Guru and to serve him and with questions and with humility to approach that Guru that is. And that Shabari was the embodiment of that. Surrendered her life, dedicated her, and whatever she instructed is following that instruction in toto till the death, till Rama came and appeared. Now, Kirtan, then Kirtan means loud singing, that Hridhi Vrindavane Vas Karo He Kamalapati, na? Oh Lord, if you reside. Ajay, he was singing. Mana Dub 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 Rup Sagore, Dub 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 Rup Sagore Amar Mon. When you hear this song, what does it create in our mind, no? Oh, we have to dive deep, no? The Thakur used to love this song. Kirtan, singing. They're one of the best tools for spiritualizing our life and making our life bhakti, increase our devotion. So, Kirtan and singing together. You see, when we are very much troubled in life, no? If 5 people can sit together and sing some song for 1 hour, you see, at least 1 hour you are off from the trouble. We can join in singing Ramakrishna Saranam, sing for 2 minutes. All the sins are just left us. Or the negativity, or our anxieties, worries, pain, that also go. And we have a satsanga. That's we touch the holiness in us, no? So that's the fourth point. Rama said that Kirtan, Bhagavat Nam. Thakur also said Nama Jap, Bhajan Kirtan. That means out loud singing the glories of God, removes the mind, this mind in our own thoughts of body, mind, suffering and all these things, it can lift us from that. So that is the another practice. These are all practices, ninefold practice. This is the fourth one, the kirtan, the chanting the glories of his name, singing his glories. Panchama, it is japa, mantra japa, mantra japa. Very important point, japa, 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 japa. Unconditionally, unceasingly, a practice of repeating the holy mantra, holy japa. Guru gave the mantra, repeating his name. Always name will bring the object identified by the name. Because every sound has an object behind it. Every sound. And that object, our object is God. So in some sound, mantra, Guru gave, or we chant Om, or we chant whatever the other mantras, it has instantly, it brings an image. Maybe Saguna, maybe Nirguna, that's okay. Om is Nirguna maybe. You can say Rama, 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 then it is Saguna. It may be Ma Durga, Ma Kali, whatever name. So when the mantra, Mananatrayati iti mantra, they are called special power in mantra. That's why we get it from our gurus, because it is manana. It has been repeatedly reflected upon that as representing Satchidananda. Who we are talking about, our Ishta Devata, or our mantra representing what? It is Satchidananda. All mantras indicate ultimately to Satchidananda. So when one thinks this way and repeats the mantra, then mantra can lead us to transform ourselves. Our whole inner personality gets transformed. So that's why japa, mantra japa, and vishwasa, firm faith. I am repeating the mantra. Most of us say, I am repeating, nothing happening, so I do not know, I don't find more interest. No, Guru has given the mantra, the firm faith. It will release me from all bondage. It has the power to do that, and it will do. It has done for so many people before, and it will do it for me also. The firm conviction, with that, repeating the holy mantra constantly, unceasingly, all the time. And that is a simple practice. Sometimes we cannot meditate. How many of us can meditate? Many people said, I cannot focus on the form. Form does not come for me. Yes, that's true. But we can do this. We don't have to think of form if it does not come. But we can repeat the mantra. And only mantra, focusing on mantra unceasingly, if one continues, its power, its potential power will manifest. You know, words has so much power. If someone says, you rascal, I don't like it if someone tells me. But if you say, oh my dear, how are you? Both are words, sound. But one creates so much emotion of love, emotion of hatred. Everything is possible. So when we take the name of the Lord, that has some innate power, potential in it, and it reveals that glory of the Lord in our heart. So, Nam, Nam, Nam. I told you many times that story because I still remember. I was one time visiting Benares. And so, as you know, you go to the inner sanctum there and you offer your water. And that time when I visited, that particular time there is no many other devotees or anyone. I was the only person. So I pour water and this little bell leaves and this and then Om Namah Shivaya, what we do, as we do, all of us do. And then I was standing in the corner and I was trying to do some mantra japa. And suddenly I heard one sadhu, Ramayat sadhu, with a half-naked sadhu, bare body, and Rama, 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 Rama. And then it's with the Rama, Rama mantra, he's offering bell leaf on the Shiva. He's pouring water on Shiva, Rama, 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 Rama. and continued to chant Rama, 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 Rama. And after all, puja is over, he happened to come just to stand by me, next to me. And there was not any other person, but he came and stood there. And he was doing Rama, Rama, Rama. I was getting the thrill on my body. And I look at him, Baba, his face is beaming with joy, and his goosebumps on the body. Rama, 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 Rama. It is simply Rama, 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 Rama. Rama, Ishta mantra, has the potential power to generate that spiritual energy. Even I can feel, I am an outsider, I am sitting, I have no connection with him. Just he came, that is the sadhu sangha. I remember how, it may be now maybe 40 years or 50 years, but I still remember, I feel that, yes. That is the holy company, Sata Sangha, as the first point. That is also here, Nama Japa. And that's also third point. Nama Japa will bring with conviction. Now I am convinced, yes, seeing that sadhu, does not belong to our order, or I do not know him, he does not know. He left the place, I also left the place, but it's an indelible impression kept in the mind. It is the words are here, that we should repeat the mantra japa, and it only mantra japa can give. Holy Mother said, Ajapa. It is who said? Ramakrishna also said in one place. Japa, only japa, that can give liberation. There are many spiritual people say that they don't have any other practice. Only japa, only japa, only japa. I had been one time in Vedanta group of sannasins, and that was in Chitrakoot. So I went there, I thought that I will stay somewhere, but we are babus. We went from Belur Math. I was going from college to find one isolated place for meditation. But Chitrakoot is a place for austerity. Where is Babugiri? Then I found out one place, and there is some sadhus live there. They have some paka building. At least they can give me some corner. Not room or anything, but some hall or somewhere. And you can roll down your blanket and lie down. But anyway, and then I saw their sadhana. They are soham. Their practice is soham. So when I went, I said, can I stay here? Yes, soham. Soham. Go there. Lie down. And then I see what they do, let us check. Early morning they get up, they have their guru's photographs. Guru is adored in every tradition. And then Guru. But they are waving the incense and saying, Soham. All mantra is Soham, Soham. No other word there, but everything Soham, 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 Soham. That's practicing. It is really very unusual. Their communication system is Soham. You go to Narmada, on the bank of Narmada. You go there, they talk to each other. Hello, how are you? Narmade Har. How are you? Narmade Har. I'm okay. It's very, India is unique. They have made these things into practical in life. So there I stayed also some time, and I saw everyone. They will not talk, hello, how are you? No, Narmade Har. Narmade Har. So that the name has that potential power, and if we practice that way, I see the net result of them, and that creates such a, that is, you look upon God as Rama. I saw that Rama sadhu. Here is the Vedanta sadhus, but they create such an environment. Maybe 5-10 sadhus are sitting together, all are soham, soham. That is their practice. They don't practice any other mantra. And on whole day, talking, seeing, meditating on soham. So that is the mantra japa. I mean, does not mean mantras should not be always only with a saguna brahma, or it is a sakara brahma. It is not necessary. Mantra japa, and with a firm faith, if one does, impact becomes deeper. Then, and then his life should be self-controlled and righteous living. Should be self-control, that means spirituality. That is never excused in a tradition of Hinduism. Your life should be moral and ethical and righteous. Without that background, don't talk about spirituality. So that is the sixth point, self-control, and the controlling oneself for God. Checking for all our outgoing tendencies to be stopped by my own effort, by controlling the mind and living a righteous life. That should be the good conduct. Detachment from excessive worldly things and desires. Seventh point, your Rama should not be here only. Seeing God in all. This Rama should be everywhere. That practice is the next practice. That not only see God in your heart, but try to see God in others. Jo Ram Dasrath ki beta, wahi Ram, ghat ghat mein leta, wahi Ram, sabse niyara, wahi Ram jagat pasera. Wahi Ram sabse niyara, in the heart of the heart, wahi Ram jagat pasera, wherever we see. This should be, it is a devotional practice, it is not a Vedanta practice. There is no discrimination like that is Vedanta, it is the same sadhana, but this is Ramji's advice to remember, to see God inside and see God outside. Swamiji said, one who sees God in the temple only, his sadhana is partial. But one who sees Shiva in the jiva, his practice is perfect. So this is Rama's advice, that it is seeing God in all, viewing the entire world as filled with the presence of the Lord, and respecting all beings as such. If I know God is everywhere, I cannot ignore, I cannot deny, I cannot disregard, disrespectful for anything. That means regard for the whole world comes, because it is all permeated with Rama or the God Lord himself. So this is the seventh point, seeing God in within as also in all, and respecting. Is it not a theoretical talk? I see God in all, but I misbehave with everyone. But no, see, if you see God in all, really feel that really God is there. But this practice is gradually also. If someone continuously do the japa, kirtana, guru service, katha sravana, and satsanga, if one does that, that will be the natural attainment of an individual soul, that it is seeing God inside and seeing God outside, and as a result, serving God. Everyone serves patients, no? In the hospital. Every hospital you go, what is the patient's condition? But you go to Benares, you see our Sevasrama, what is the condition with the Narayan, Rogi Narayan? Rogi Narayan. To think Rogi as Narayan, Lord God in the form of Rogi. That is the instruction given. Even the head Swami comes once a month. Now one say, I do not know what time, once a month or a year. At least goes to every patient. And the head Swami will take flowers, fruits, clothing, etc. to each patient and wave like that, do the arati and salute, with trying to think I am serving Narayana in the Rogi. So this idea that seeing God in all, and with due respect. If you think that God is there, God is there. So we respect. We all come and bow down here. If I can do here, why can we not do here in others? And that's the matured state of bhakti, to seeing within and to seeing everywhere and to respecting everywhere. Ramakrishna, everywhere, he is bowing down. Before doing anything, he bows down first. And what? It's a mechanical thing that he bows down his head. But he sees God. He himself sees totally charged inside. And what he sees outside, it is the same Lord, or say Ma, or whatever she used to use the term. Now, as a result of seeing this, what will happen? 8th point, contentment and simplicity will come in the life. He will be ever content. Nothing will disturb, because he knows God is inside, God is outside. He keeps his mind always engaged in singing and glories of the Lord. He is doing japa all the time. All this methodology which is taken, we have read the 8th point. See, naturally, life will be very simple. He does not have to think of anything, because his mind is so pure in that state. The contentment will be in the natural nature of the person. He will be satisfied and less craving. He will no craving. Jahi vidhi rakhe Ram, tahi vidhi rahiye. Then it is not to be practiced. It is the condition. God keeps whatever way. That's good for me. Not the question to judge. We complain, why this, why that? Yes, that is true. We are in this mental level here. But if one practices all this discipline, a natural contentment will come, where there will be no question why this suffering. Suffering, welcome joy. Whatever comes. Jahi vidhi rakhe Ram, और ताही विधि रहिए, विधि का विधान जान, हान मान सहिए, झोपड़ी में राखे राम, चाहे महलों में राखे, सीता राम सीता राम सीता राम कीजिए. Beautiful. झोपड़ी में राखे राम. One day you are in the very hot, small heart, leaky heart. महलों में राखे. Tomorrow you are in the palace. Jahi vidhi rakhe Ram, in good health, in bad health, in praise and in blame. That contentment already is there, and that will be the result. How devotion is taking one practice, these practices, very simple, at the same time non-responsive to the outward stimulations. So contentment and simplicity, that means being satisfied with whatever one gets, and not finding fault in others. This fault-finding thing, Holy Mother said, I also had this fault-finding, sometimes I used to do. How much I prayed to Thakur, I cannot tolerate this, no? Please take away. So, Mother used to always see the positive side of things and respect everyone with the good thing, whatever available. So 2 things, satisfied, I am, whatever condition comes, I am happy. What is attainment due to bhakti? Bhakti is bhakti. What is in your bhakti, you only know in your heart. But we want to see what is bhakti in you. These are the expression of bhakti. You will be satisfied with whatever condition one keeps, because I know God is my soul, God is my heart, and God is the support of me. And whatever He keeps, in whatever condition He keeps, that's good for me. And that was very good. This best selection He has done for me. And at last, what will happen? As a result of Saranagati, Atmanivedanam, your own surrender, total surrender to God and God alone. We surrender ourselves in so many people, to so many powerful things of the world outside. But to surrender to God as my only refuge, then if you take surrender to God, then naturally, where is worries, where is anxieties? I give the example of a child, baby. Baby is the example of surrender. Baby does not know anything. Anything happens, he can cry, or sometimes smile. These are the 2 things. But how free from all anxieties? Babies have no anxieties. They know their mom is there. So this is the point, and complete surrender will come when we know, having faith in the Lord with a pure heart, free from deceit. That will be coming. These 9 forms together described as a practical, accessible path of devotion, emphasizing humility, faith, and love over ritual complexity. Normally we think bhakti means some ritual performance. As in Shabari's life we are talking about, he has no formalities. He came, when Rama came, what he did? Whatever he has, asana or the tattered cloth, he has given that as a seat. Whatever in her stock, some fruits, she cannot collect any other rich food or anything. Fruits and fruit trees are in the Matanga Rishi's ashrama. So she plucked them. And then sweet or sour, what she will do? So she tasted herself and gave it to him. And Rama accepted it. That's called the para-bhakti. We should not try that. That's a bhakti, but our bhakti will be then too much. It will be a sinful act. So, but with the para-bhakti comes, supreme love comes. So how can I give a sour fruit to my beloved Lord? That is called para-bhakti, supreme devotion. But Vaidhi bhakti, I will have to do this ritual, this form, and we have to follow that rule to reach this stage. But this bhakti, which ultimately surrender, there is all, whatever you do, is in your perfect devotion has grown. So this complete faith in the Lord with a pure heart, like that I have nobody in the world, O Lord, you are my only refuge. Tasmat tameva sharanam mamadina bandha. Swami Vivekananda, such a person of so much vigor, he is teaching us to pray every day. Tasmat tameva sharanam bhaktir bhagascha bhajanam bhavaveda. I know it is all penetrating, this cuts away all the Veda distinction. Vivek, Vairagya, Bhakti, devotion, etc. But name bhati kinchit, nothing happens to my mind. Oh Lord, you are my only refuge, only refuge. And when really one can say with tearful eyes, he has reached a goal. And that will give the immediate solace, because I am a helpless child. Please help me. That is the last real Saranagati. And Saranagati is ki gati, ar vina nai na ki, there is a song. Saranagati is the goti, last goti. Sab goti, shesh goti, Saranagati. All goti, the movement ends in one target. And the last target is Saranagati. That means nothing of me, everything belongs to God and Lord. So these are the ninefold forms of devotional practice to reach the acme of devotion, para-bhakti. And para-bhakti, when it happens, then God becomes your servant. God becomes you. We are praying to God. God will pray to us. Like Jasoda, like Nanda's son, Kaushalya, the Rama. So the mother becomes the guide, and Lord God of the universe becomes the child. Nandero bhavan, ki ami mathay boi ki ganta, what is that sound? Bhaktiro karon nandero bhavan, pita gyane ami mathay. I carry the load of my father. He is my father. I am the Lord of the universe, but I carry the load of Nanda. Pita Gyane is the devotion, great devotion, supreme bhakti, which takes them to this. So, now 4 o'clock, so we end here. And this is beautiful. You can read in the Ramcharitmanas. It's very beautifully explained there more. And we can practice in our life this type of, this ninefold sadhana. Jad jad acharati shrestha tadeva itara jana. So these theories have been given not only for talking, but it has been given for practice. Sadhu Sangha, yes. Sam has used the Sadhu Sangha, Nama Japa and all these days and have attained. But I am not. I'll have to start those things. I'll have to practice that. Nama Smaranam, Japa, Kirtan, all this what we read now. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu Sri Ramachandra Arpanamastu. So Ram Navami, so it is a wonderful day. We thought about Ramji and his teachings. So thank you all. Jai Ma.
We can take a very short break again. Those who don't have to leave, just get up and stretch. If you need to go to the bathroom or drink of water or something, try to come back quickly because the next session will start as soon as everyone is back here. Maharaj, so beautiful. Really is very, very touching. Touches the heart. Yeah. Special announcement, Anita, raise your hand. Anita is the one who found this property for us. Yeah. Yeah. So we're very grateful to her. She played a very important role. Yeah. 29 years. Yes, 29 years ago. Write them down. This next session is an interactive session. We'll speak, each of us, for 10-15 minutes, and there'll be time for question and answer. The theme will be the 4 Purusharthas, Chatuvarga, because Sri Rama was also an ideal householder, and the 4 aims of life correspond to the different stages of life. So dharma will be the first. Swami Swahananda will speak on dharma, and that'll go with the first stage of life and guide us for a whole lifetime. And then the next, Artha Kama, for the Gurihastha, the Garhastha stage of life, that I'll discuss that. And then Swami Sarvadevananda, he'll discuss the 4th, moksha, and then some will even say prema, the Parama Purushartha. But that'll be the schedule for this. And there's paper and pen that are there because Shreya is there with her basket. And you can write down your questions, and then at the end we'll bring them up, and then we'll answer the questions. So I am hoping that at least half of the time, roughly half of the time, will be question and answer. We can run a little bit over, but by about 5:15 or something, we should break. They have to set up for the music. And then we'll have time for snacks, tea and coffee and snacks in the basement, and then we'll have our arati at 6:30. So.
Namaskar. As we heard this morning, This beautiful ashram of ours was founded.
No,
It's not on.
There's nothing to do here.
Not on.
There's nothing to do here. Yeah, just cameras, please. Yeah, there's a lot of distraction with these cameras, flash and all. As we heard in the morning, this beautiful ashram of ours was founded 29 years ago, in 1997, on the sacred Ram Navami day, the birthday of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Yesterday was Ram Navami, and tomorrow we'll be observing it here with special puja. So I felt we should devote some time today to contemplating the great heroic character of Sri Rama, his personality, what he is, what he stands for, what he represents. The best and finest description of Sri Rama's character, a description that captures the very essence of his personality, is a short phrase of just 3 words. Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. Rama is Dharma personified. This one short phrase says everything that can be said about Rama, and it can't be said better. Now, everybody here is conversant with the story of Ramayana, I assume that. With the story of the Ramayana in the background, let us examine the word or the concept of dharma. What do we mean by dharma? As commonly understood, dharma means a religion, a system of faith and worship. Belief in the tenets of a religion and the performance of certain rituals prescribed by it. That is all that is ordinarily required of a religious person. But the term dharma has a much deeper and wider meaning. It literally means that which holds together. It comes from the Sanskrit root, dhr, which means to hold. Dhr means to hold together. So, dharma is that which holds together the existence of a thing. It means the inmost constitution of a thing, the law of its inner being, which sustains it and helps its growth, and without which the thing ceases to exist. Everything in nature has its dharma, because everything must depend on something for its existence. And what is it on which the existence of a thing mainly depends? It is the thing's own essential nature, without which it could never exist. So, the essential nature of a thing is called its dharma. Like all other things in nature, we human beings also have an essential nature that upholds our existence and which distinguishes us from the rest of creation. That distinguishing thing is the dharma of us human beings. It is called Manava Dharma. A well-known Sanskrit verse says, 4 things are common to all beings, animals and humans. 4 things: eating, sleeping, sense enjoyment, and fear. It is only dharma that distinguishes a human being from other living beings. Bereft of dharma, a human being is no better than an animal. This is what the verse says. Now, our life here on earth is a journey towards spiritual perfection. We should always bear in mind that the purpose of human life is to become spiritually perfect, to become one with God, our spirit. All our laws, our ethical codes, and our forms of worship derive their value from this ultimate purpose, which we have to always keep in view. Otherwise, all our achievements, all our accomplishments in this world will become like so many zeros without the one before it. The zeros don't have any value if the one is not there. So what is the path that leads us to this goal? What is the first thing we need to do when we start on this journey towards perfection? The first thing to do is turn away from whatever leads in the opposite direction. To turn away from all evil. It is not as easy as we think it is to be good and pure. When the scriptures say, be good, be pure, what they imply is that we must be good and pure in body, mind, and soul. In thought, word, and deed. In waking, dream, and sleep. Now we can imagine the difficulty of it. For most of us, acquiring that level of goodness and purity could be the task of an entire lifetime, if not several lifetimes. What will help us in this difficult task? Dharma. The first stage in our upward, that is to say, Godward journey, is characterized entirely by the practice of dharma, particularly by the performance of our own respective duties, swadharma. The idea of dharma can be understood in 2 senses. In a general sense, it includes everything that the Shastras teach us that lead us to our moral and spiritual good. A dharmic character, dharmic qualities, dharmic actions, and so on. And in a somewhat technical sense, the word means all the duties that fall on an individual according to their position as responsible members of a community and according to their own mental and moral development. duties of each according to their position in society and their stage of mental, moral, and spiritual growth. Our duties and obligations, we can at once see how closely interconnected these two meanings are. Our duties and obligations acquire their significance only from the unseen spiritual value that is attached to them. In other words, our duties are important because if we discharge them faithfully and devotedly, they will help us rise higher and higher morally and spiritually. That amounts to saying that my dutiful discharge of my religions is my swadharma, my own personal religion. If religion is that which purifies me and takes me Godward, then the Vedas say there can be no better or higher religion for me than the right performance of my own swadharma. That makes dharma more an internal thing than external. It depends not on outer actions, but on the inner spirit of the person who acts. In fact, the Hindu lawgivers and scriptures, smritikaras and their dharma shastras, they miss no opportunity to point out that an inner dharmic disposition, a dharmic tendency of the mind, is far more important than mere outward good conduct. In this sense, the ethics of the Vedas is mainly subjective or personal. I repeat, the speciality of Hindu ethics is that it is derived from certain spiritual concepts. And as such, it forms the very foundation of spiritual life. Then, in the Hindu view, the nature of dharma is relative. It doesn't recognize absolute good or absolute evil. Good can only be described as what is less evil, and evil is only what is less good. It is impossible to specify what is absolutely good or absolutely evil for all people at all times. Whenever and wherever such a thing has been attempted, to judge all people by one single idea of dharma, or to impose upon all a single standard of virtue or righteousness, the result has been much cruelty, much injustice to humanity. So, if we want to give a comprehensive definition of good and evil, this much we can say. What helps human beings towards the realization of their inner divinity, and what helps us in realizing our collective goal of the unity of all existence. Call it self-knowledge or God realization or liberation or perfection. That is good. Anything that helps that goal, the realization of that goal, is good, and the opposite is evil. That is all that we can say. But it is when we try to work out the practical details that we face difficulties. I just said that our only task in the first stage of our ascent towards spiritual perfection is the cultivation of dharmic virtues. But it would rather be more proper to say that the formation of a virtuous character, rather than the cultivation of dharmic virtues, is the aim. You may wonder, what is the difference between the formation of a virtuous character and the cultivation of virtues? I'll try to be as clear as I can. First of all, not everybody understands dharma with reference to the true goal of human life. Not everybody understands what is the relationship between the two. Not only that, the rationality of dharmic virtues depends upon circumstances. It is not always easy to determine at what point a virtue ceases to be a virtue. In one situation, a person can appear to be a hero, but in another, he'll appear very cruel. So, the cultivation of virtues may also become mechanical, a mechanical obedience to moral commandments. No doubt, this kind of strict obedience may be quite necessary in the beginning. Probably that is why our lawgivers lay down rules of dharma in an apparently dogmatic manner. But we are expected to grow up. We are expected to mature along the journey. At some stage, we have to be able to decide for ourselves what is right, what is fair, what is virtuous in a given circumstance. We shouldn't be overly hampered by rules and regulations. What is our ultimate goal? Liberation of the soul through self-knowledge. That is our ultimate goal as human beings. Once that is firmly fixed and never lost sight of, then all our thinking, feeling, willing, all our responses become naturally attuned to that goal. Then we begin to spontaneously think and act in ways that are helpful for the realization of that goal. This is what is meant by acquiring a virtuous character, a natural, spontaneous tendency, a natural leaning towards dharma, a dharmic disposition of the mind. Then we become independent in our judgment, and at the same time, we rarely ever go wrong. As Sri Ramakrishna said, an expert dancer never makes a false step. So this is the difference between cultivation of virtues, which can become mechanical, and the formation of a virtuous character whose responses are naturally, spontaneously dharmic. Now we have two standards of dharma. On the one hand, we have the do's and don'ts of the Shastras, and on the other, we have the example of a person of dharmic character, a dharmatma. Which of them should we follow? A dharmatma, a virtuous soul, is a surer standard than a rule of dharma. Rules are open to interpretation. Rules are rarely conclusive. But a dharmatma is a living example. A living example whose actions and conduct carry tremendous conviction, which carry the unmistakable stamp of authenticity. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, there is a short section called Acharyopadesha, a preceptor's instructions to his pupils. It contains some valuable advice on how to decide in matters of doubt. The teacher says, "Now, if there arises in your mind any doubt concerning any act, or any doubt concerning conduct, you should conduct yourself in such matters as wise, holy people would conduct themselves. Wise, holy people who are competent to judge, who by nature are devoted to good deeds and are not urged to their performance by others, and wise, holy people who are not severe but are lovers of dharma." The Shastra, the Veda itself, is saying this. Should you have any doubt about an action or a line of conduct, in such a case, you should follow the wise and the holy. They are the ones that are competent to judge. They who are not compelled by injunctions and prohibitions, who are not dry, heartless followers of do's and don'ts, but who are by nature dharmic, by nature lovers of dharma. And at the end, as if to add emphasis, the teacher says, this is the rule, this is the teaching, this is the secret wisdom of the Vedas, this is the command. This you should observe, this alone should be observed. So, the Vedic ideal of spiritual perfection is the standard of reference, and the examples of sages and saints are our practical guides. As a matter of fact, this is how Hinduism has succeeded in keeping its moral and ethical codes flexible and its dharma alive. If we know the life stories, if we know the detailed life stories of the three greatest avatars the Indian subcontinent has seen, Rama, Krishna, Ramakrishna. If we know their life stories in detail, we will know that these three are the most perfect embodiments of that great ideal of dharma. Truly, they are the ideal of dharma personified in flesh and blood. They are the great ones whom we should follow, whom we should try to emulate. So, may their divine characters inspire us and guide us along the higher path. Thank you. So please. There's a prayer hall, quiet.
I'm going to zip through my session because we're running quite late now, and I really wanted to leave time for a lot of question and answer. I chose this Artha and Kama together because these go together with the stage of life we call the householder stage of life. And if we juxtapose this with this idea of dharma, it's quite shocking. This is our kamani kanchon, now what we call kam kanchon. There's lust and greed almost that Thakur says is the biggest enemy in spiritual life. So how do we put these two things together? Main thing is that the dharma has to be the guiding principle. And during the householder stage of life, yes, one should enjoy things. Yes, one should try to fulfill these legitimate desires. One should have property. One should be successful in a career. These are not opposed to this idea of dharma or a spiritual life, but we have to remember the purpose of these is to transcend them. That Sri Ramakrishna, he uses this phrase quite often, bhoganta. Unless one reaches the end of one's desire, then one can't progress in spiritual life. So there are certain things that desires we should fulfill. And this is why we have this householder stage of life. Otherwise, everyone goes right from brahmacharya to sannyasa. So some desire to have a family, to raise good children, to do something constructive for society. These are extremely valuable things. And at the end of this householder period of life, we should say, I've done these. And those desires which just cause more obstacles, those desires which are kind of addictive things, those we simply say, no, these are contrary to dharma, we can't do these things. So we should never feel that there's something wrong if we have some desire to build up a good career, to have children, to raise them, to be successful in life, that this is a process, a very brilliant system, that this householder stage of life was meant to fulfill these things so that we can transcend these things. There was a period where these authors of these Dharma Shastras and others said that everyone should go through this stage. They were against this idea that you can take sannyasa without going through the stage of this garhastya, and that sannyasa was for those that reaching at the end of life, after retirement age. So this is the vast majority of people will be like that. There'll be a handful, of course, that will take the sannyasa from an early age, but that stage of life is meant for that certain amount of enjoyment, so that we can say, yes, I've done it, and we can see through it. No, it's not what I thought it would be. There's nothing so wonderful about it. It's not leading me higher in spiritual life, that I know what's in it. Otherwise, there's a doubt may be there throughout a lifetime. What did I miss? There's some enjoyment that I should have had. So this is the stage of life where we go through these things, we experience it, we enjoy it, and we can go beyond it. So this is the value. There's a value to this. Kama, we always think of something negative. It doesn't have to mean a lustful attitude. It means that we can have some legitimate desires. It's fine. Artha, it doesn't mean we're greedy people. It means that, yes, we'll have our possessions. We have to think about that. Swamiji said one time, people who are very poor, don't give them religion. Let them have things. A little luxury is okay for them even. Let them experience these things. Otherwise, the mind will hanker over these things. So a very brilliant scheme of life, which will allow us to reach that stage of life, retirement stage, the last two stages of life, where we can pursue ultimately this ideal of moksha. So moksha is the ultimate goal throughout life. Dharma is the ultimate guiding principle throughout life. And this in-between period, we try to fulfill those legitimate desires and say, yes, I've done it. That's not so wonderful. Or, it was wonderful, I'm glad I did it, but now I'm beyond all of that. So now I will request Swamiji to go to that final stage, the moksha.
Yes, we have heard about dharma and the importance of the two stages of Artha and Kama. And last stage is called moksha. But we are all searching for moksha. We are all searching for joy. Brahmacharya for what? For being strong, powerful, cheerful, joyful person. Garhastha for what? happiness, peace, joy. Continuously I will get it through that. And moksha, from what? I want to be ever established in the joyful state of our mind. So all are searching for joy. Ananda is our goal. And how to reach that goal? Towards the beginning, we should have ethical life. And with the background of ethical life, moral life, then directing it for getting higher joy and higher joy and higher joy. So the householder life is going to the next step of joy and to next step of joy. And as Swami has said, I am done with it, I have seen, but it does not give me the joy I want. It gives joy, I understand, but it's followed by suffering and pain again and again, little joy and again suffering. And we balance ultimately, make a balance sheet that we are losing. Our investment is not bringing out good result, rather it is bringing us some losses. So now let us start. I have tried this way, it didn't work. Kama and Artha, yes, those I have tried in a very legitimate path, but it didn't give me satisfaction. Then what shall I do? Shall I end my journey there? No, let me go another higher goal. So all goal is Brahma Jnana, that knowledge of the perfect soul that gives us joy, eternal joy. So this last goal is achieved by sab chhod ke sab paave. I have tried this, it didn't give me. Okay, let me see. Without that, trying for, is there any truth following that path of that Vedantic understanding or Bhakti understanding or whatever, satisfying all this condition, then we find incomplete. So let me try to complete this path of renunciation and detachment. Renunciation is not negative. Again and again this is to be understood. The monastic life is not a painful life. It is giving up what? Giving up the small to reach something higher. And our life's journey should move that way, from lower to higher. Swami Vivekananda said, we travel from lower truth to higher truth to higher truth. No? And highest is our real nature when I don't want anything. I am fully satisfied. So, these are all complementary stages. Brahmacharya, Garastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas, they are complementary, leading to the ultimate goal. And Sannyas does not mean a negative thing. Sannyas means achieving Paramananda Prapti, to attain that supreme love, supreme joy, and not satisfied with any other less than that. So moksha, the path of moksha, liberation, path of total surrender to God and to be absolutely free from all tension, anxieties, goal of life, that is achieved by detachment, what is called renunciation. Renunciation of the mundane and accepting that which is our real nature, infinite. So I think this is the understanding about the 4 stages of life, but some prefer to go from the student life, brahmacharya life to sannyas. Some can go from the next stage, Varastha, and some can go Vanaprastha stage, or some can go after that Vanaprastha sannyas. So these are the all journey ending into the infinite nature of ourselves. That absolute peace, absolute joy and absolute ananda. So that ananda is the goal. So whoever starts and who is fit for what, let them start, and these are all fulfilling. And also I emphasize that point what Swami has told, that this householder life is a foundation of the society. Without householder life, where the sadhus will be fed? Who will feed the sadhus? Without householder, where will come some boys who will join as a monk? They don't come from the heaven and drop in the sky. So it is all so much important. And as Swamiji says, to contribute a wonderful gift to the society. A good householders, they contribute good children in the society, and that is good for the world. So all are ashramas. We need not ever think that this is lower or higher and superior and inferior. Only this journey, if we take it, fulfillment, so it is a completing our journey into that infinitude. And then we are all reach the same goal. Okay? So this much.
Now time for questions. No, you're right, write them down. Questions are to be written down, and then we'll take them here. We already have a good number. Thank you. Okay. Okay, I'll read it and then we can see who wants to answer. Mantra japa is going on in my mind day and night. As my devotion is increasing, my social activities are it must be lessening, and yet to an extent that I don't feel like to call on anyone. I call a very few people. I enjoy talking if someone calls. Is this normal? Swamiji, please guide us. Pranam Swamiji. Yeah, it's good. This is a good thing. Okay. While we can look to the lives of Ramakrishna and Ramakrishna for the highest dharmic virtues, for a high level of guidance, who can we look to for how to apply those virtues to the complex life of a householder?
While we can look to the lives of Ramakrishna and Ramakrishna for a higher level of guidance, who can we look to for how to apply those virtues to the complex life of a householder's life? Yeah, I think Swami Vivekananda may be a good guide. He said, fight, some places he said. Yeah? Give a blow for blow. Cheeks, one cheek, giving like that, give the other cheek, is not for all. So he has the good guidance in different ways. So I think that will be good to follow Swami Vivekananda. Feel a fire, should be filled with energy, filled with strength. Huh? Okay.
Okay. Maharaj can take one.
Yeah, you take.
Life is full of trials and joy. How do I continue to stay focused on God in the midst of extreme challenges? I hope joy is not a challenge. When we are faced with trials, with a little experience, I mean, after absorbing a few kicks and blows, if we are spiritually sensitive, it is easier to look for a spiritual solution than it would be if I were always joyful. When we are always joyful, we tend to forget God. That is why Kunti Devi, the mother of the Pandavas, she actually, it is known as Kunti Devi's prayer. Vipadassantu nashashvat tatra jagadguru. May there be trials and tribulations for us at every step, O Lord. Bhavato darshanam yatsyat apunarbhava darshanam. Yeah, if those trials will help us remember you, then may we have more and more of such trials. May we have trouble at every step. But for that, there has to be some awakening. Otherwise, we may become bitter. But the thing is, how do I continue to stay focused on God? Yeah, there is only one, for ordinary people like us, there is only one way, practice. Vaidhi Bhakti. It may seem unnatural, but it will all become natural because in our present state of ignorance, what is unnatural has become natural and vice versa.
Me. So here is a question. I have come to appreciate the value of having personal goal, but did not grow up with one in particular.
Personal God.
God, acha, personal God. How should I come to find which one form to focus my devotion towards? Yes, you have not yes, we have not found out anybody, but you see which appeals. Read the life of Rama, read the life of Krishna, read Ramakrishna, and what life appeals to your heart. You can make that as your chosen ideal and goal, or your guru can guide you to decide. You can talk to any person you think that they can help us. Or you select yourself where your heart is drawn towards more, that I like it more. And my mind feels more comfortable with thinking of that ideal.
Okay. Is bhakti greater than jnana? What is the ultimate goal? Yeah. Greater, well, I won't say greater. Thakur says easier and more simple. Shoja, shoj. And that somehow it can get us to that inner apartment where jnana gets to the outside. But ultimately, they both end up in the same place, and there should be no great distinction between the two. If we have some understanding of the nature of God, we should feel some devotion. And to have that devotion, we have to know something. We have to feel God dwells within. So we shouldn't think of them as so separate. The best thing is if we can combine these and then not bother. If one likes the path of devotion, then it's greater for that person. One likes the path of knowledge, it's greater for that person. So, done. Maharaj? Done.
I think that one point to my thought goes that jnana does not mean supreme knowledge, and bhakti does not mean para-bhakti, supreme love. So we are all students. You are a student of physics, I am a student of chemistry. But we have to get a PhD. So everything is good according to one's own capacity. Okay. Read it quick.
Should one be satisfied with only japa, within parentheses, and no meditation? It's trying to do only japa exclusively. It is like trying to think of somebody without having his form in mind. That is nearly impossible. So, at least in our tradition, we are always advised, we are instructed to practice both together. Name and form go together. They can't really be separated. But of course, there are some minds that are form-oriented and some sound-oriented. For them, one or the other will be more prominent. That's all. Otherwise, I don't think it can be so clearly, because it says, and no meditation, no in bold, capitals. That is not possible.
How do I build a strong love for God being a beggar? The love that I have with people in my life seems unconditional. Okay, second part, you're very fortunate. Very fortunate that we hear that there's no such thing as unconditional love in the world. I think there is to a certain extent. Yes. To a certain extent.
For a time being.
No, it can be to a certain extent. That we'll see some parents, really everything is for the children. And they're very fortunate. I won't look down so much on human love, but we should understand that this human love can be transferred. We can, and we try to, if a mother is like that, then we try to see a divine mother in her. Yeah, we don't have to compare the two. But I want to get to the first part, that building strong love for God as a beggar is one of the best ways to do it. That, oh Lord, I have nothing. I am just a beggar. Whatever I have is whatever you give me. I rely completely on you. It's a wonderful attitude to have. So I wouldn't say that this is detrimental. I think this is helpful to have that type of the attitude, that I'm helpless. I depend on you for everything. This gives this feeling, sharanagati, this surrender, which, at least on a certain devotional path, is the final word. Final word. So we should look upon that as something positive.
One question. We always want to have satsang, but inclusive society is not perfect. How do we spread our devotion to the satsang, to the society, to satsang? I think that our own life, it has two purposes. One for one's own development, another for the good of others. But if we start with, I start for my own benefit. Then if I can find some other friend to join me, then we can be together, two people may be together. Society may not be welcoming. Society will say the weekend, where are you going? No, I am going to temple. You are not coming to our party? That will be the normal response. But we will have to say, I have done enough party, not to say to them, but you try to find excuse, to be excused from them, and made your own party, Ramakrishna party. No. No.
There's a long question.
Quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to.
If Ramayana is not mythology but history, it really happened, then how can Ravan have 10 heads? Was it figurative? Or were there such creatures, humans, in those days, 7,000 years ago? How about the air transport used by Ravana? Was it available then? What was the real deal? Yeah, Ramayana is mostly history because it is counted as such, but it has very strong mythological elements in that. It's a mixture. And Ravana having 10 heads and things like that, not only the demons, even gods have dozens of hands and things like that. These are all not figurative, symbolic. For that you have to really take the trouble to go to the Puranas and educate yourself in Puranic lore. Then we will see so much meaning. It is the study of the Puranas can be so rewarding. So for that, we have to take the trouble. But the rest of the things, I'm really not so interested. Air transport and all, yeah. I don't see any deal in that.
But yes, I think that you can think there was something, Jatayu, the bird, and we hear that helicopters get stuck or cut there may be something like that. Science may be developed, etc. Anyhow, so another question, how to become desireless, egoless, and only desire in company with God. We have talked about 1 hour, so you can get points from that. Yeah.
I feel my mind is relatively empty being here. How do I continue to make my mind in that state, even when I engage with worldly duties? The mind shouldn't be empty, quiet, we can say, serene mind. I asked a similar question once to Swami Bhuteshanandaji. I said, Maharaj, when I'm here, Belur Math and everything, I feel so much inspiration. And he said, then come more often. Really, that was his answer. It was beautiful. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting wherever you are, you can feel it. He said, then come more often. So this is, keeping holy company, coming to a holy place, fill the mind with that. All of these things are helpful.
Spiritual masters take Mahasamadhi at their own will. That's what I've read. Is it not a form of suicide? If not, how is it different? The only true goal of human life, or the only purpose of having this human body, is to realize that we are spiritual beings, that we are God. In samadhi, a person is supposed to experience this firsthand. If that has been achieved, then the purpose of human life, the purpose of this human body has been achieved. So it is not suicide to give up the body. That is why they use these terms very meaningfully. In fact, there are a couple of places deep in the interior Himalayas where great yogis are supposed to have cast off their bodies. For us, it may look like suicide because we think we are these little human beings, but in their case, the body has served the purpose. The human body has served the purpose, and after that, whether, as Sri Ramakrishna says, when a golden image has been cast in the mold, after the image has been cast, the sculptor may or may not keep the mold.
Okay. I practice dharma to the best of my understanding to improve my personal life. What can I do to bring peace in the outer world that is burning with anger? Yeah. We're not going to bring peace to the world. We can do a little circle. We can have some influence. If we're very lucky, we may have some type of position where we can influence a larger number of people. But this world will go on. It'll have its ups and downs and everything. So we shouldn't think that the well-being of the world is up to us. Yeah. That Thakur says it's a mother's play, but it doesn't mean we should be indifferent. So especially, as I say, within a small circle, those are people are close to us. We can always be kind and helpful and do whatever we can to make life better for other people. If we do it without any pride and we do it as service and as worship of God, then it's helpful for them, helpful for us also.
How to get dispassion from the mind? Dispassion from the mind is difficult because mind has dispassion and also attraction, attachment. So mind should be purified, and purification of the mind is thinking of God, chanting His name, sadhu sangha, holy pilgrimage, and whatever, music, singing, chanting, prayer, all these can do that. So I think that is the way to be detached. Meaning that detachment, how can we practice detachment? As we love God so much detachment will come natural. I think that was the question probably. Okay?
How to practice detachment being a householder? I'm not very materialistic, but I want to decrease my worldly desires even more. How do I do that? So the first part of the question, this can be seen from practiced depending on whether one is more of a jnani or more of a bhakta. A bhakta would look upon the people that he is attached to as representations of God. My parents, my spouse, my children, my relations are all given to me by God. They are all God in so many different forms who I will serve. I'll take care of the property that has been given to me as a trustee, not as an owner. This is how a person with a bhakti outlook does it. A jnani would be more direct. He will say, yes, all relations, and it is all relations of the body. As soul, we are all one. So all my attachments will drop once the body dies. If this is always kept in mind, that is one very effective way of practice. I'm not very materialistic, but I want to decrease my desires. This, as Patanjali says, also Krishna, keep your eyes open to the unpleasant aspects of life, which we meet with almost on a daily basis. If we develop a sensitivity to these things, detachment will automatically become stronger and stronger. With the as the poets say, for to earn one smile from my beloved, I have to shed a bucket full of tears. If I remember this, detachment will automatically come.
This should be the same subject. You can read out.
Even though we want to lead a spiritual life, but we get so many distractions, greed. How to keep our focus on God and take steps to avoid distractions and lead spiritual life. Yes, if we think less and less about these distractions, the less we identify ourselves as householders, samsaris, living in the world, but think more and more of God, that would be more positive, that would be more beneficial. Focus more on God. How to keep our focus more on God? Yes, that was the subject of Maharaj's 2 talks.
There's a long question here that on Shakti and Sri Ramakrishna that should be asked to the Guru. It's a little bit too personal for here, about someone's own practice. So I'll do this next one. Can you expand on restraints and contentment, why people are becoming more selfish? Yeah, the beauty of the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna is that he never emphasizes restraint. He never emphasizes the negative. That is always the positive side. That if we feel that there are desires and other things pulling us in one direction, increase our desire for God, immerse the mind in the thoughts of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, any devotional or philosophical ideas that we have, so that we're not fighting. If the mind is fighting, trying to restrain against this and that, generally we lose. If, on the other hand, we develop that feeling of attachment, attraction to the divine, generally we'll win. Now, how do we do that? We have to immerse the mind. In Gita, we have so many different verses about that fix your mind on me, let the mind dwell in me, think of me constantly, all of that. If we do that, immerse our minds in the spiritual thought, to me the best thing is reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. To me, this is my answer to everything. We immerse ourselves in that, not just in the teachings. We get immersed in that lila, and we feel some type of joy. All of these other things, restraints, we don't have to worry about that. Some feeling of contentment will come that we're doing what we should be doing. We may not even care about reaching the goal or not, that we're leading that life, trying to do whatever we can. That will bring great contentment. Now, one quick other thing about contentment, we shouldn't think that we can't get contentment from worldly things. People who lead a dharmic life, at the end of, they may not be spiritual people. At the end of their life, they may say, I led a good life, I was an honest person, that I created jobs for other people, I looked after my family, I did all of these things. I have a certain type of contentment. It's not the same as spiritual contentment, but it's also nothing to be looked down upon. Now, this other thing, why people are becoming more selfish. Yeah, and God knows, it's a terrible thing, huh? It seems to be the case. Yeah, this is a very big question, but mostly it's we identify so deeply, not just with ourselves, but with our little group, with our own people and our own family and everything. And we take enjoyment and possessions and everything as the goal of life, so we want more. And we don't care about other people. We don't see divinity everywhere. We don't feel other people to be our very own. So we create this conflict, and then there'll be the selfishness will come.
Selfishness also is because self, I think I am the body. Naturally, I am the body means my own people, my own group, my own political supporters, my own country, my this, always it goes on like that. Anyhow, what is the question? Is Hanumanji's bhakti the same as Radha's bhakti? Very difficult to say. If we say the intensity of love, connection, they are same. Rama, Hanumanji knows nothing about the world but Rama. He does not know the time, date and tithi, all this lunar position of the planets. I don't know anything, I know only Rama. So it is constantly mind engaged in Rama. And Radha does not know anything but Krishna. So in that sense it is okay. But two spiritual attitudes are different. One is the master and the servant attitude. One is the lover and the beloved attitude. Okay? And how to get deeper in meditation? What to say? to practice. The Patanjali also suggests that practice to meditate more and more and more, and try to analyze what is my distraction, why I am getting so much distracted with these things which does not give me joy. So can I find, by singing, dancing in the name of God, we can try to find little joy first, and then joy will pull us more and more inside, and that will make a pure mind will naturally, selfless work and all these things will be the guiding factor to draw our mind towards divine within. Okay.
Last one. So evidence of rebirth from spiritual masters, etc. Is there any other evidence that when one is enlightened, he or she will not get another birth unless he or she wishes to? Yeah, if we're looking for hard science and everything, we may not find it. It'll be a little bit of a question of faith. But my real answer is that if we're engaging in spiritual life and spiritual practice with that type of aim in mind, and that if we don't have assurance that there'll be some liberation, enlightenment or something, then we're wasting our time. Suppose somebody says, if somebody says to me, you're not going to get enlightenment in this lifetime, why not enjoy the world? I'll say, no, this is the life that to me is most meaningful. I don't care about these other things. I won't bother about them so much. This is the life that is the only life that I find of great value. Everything else has a little falseness to it. So we don't have to worry too much if we really have that conviction that this is the greatest type of life to lead. And Swamiji also, he said, don't care about mukti and these other things. Yeah. Try to see God in everyone, try to serve other people, have your ideal, and then leave everything else up to God, whatever happens after that. So I'm afraid we have to stop. No. Oh, one more. Okay.
Can one in one life, janma, by praying, get moksha? Normally speaking, they say it takes several lifetimes for us even to long for liberation to be able to do that. But theoretically, yes, it all depends on the intensity of the prayer. That kind of intensity, I don't know. Yeah, if somebody has it, it is technically possible.
Thakur said, only you can realize God. So we hope that is possible.
Okay, thank you for wonderful questions. And I like these sessions. We're a little restricted now because they have to set up for the music and do all of that. So now, time for everyone to have a little break. We have coffee and tea and snacks in the basement. And then we'll come back at 6:30 for an oddity. 7:30 will be the concert tonight.